Welcome back. This is part 17 of the Sunshine Kisses and Fairy Wishes crochet along. This section is called Unity and was contributed by none other than yours truly, me. So let's get started. You need to be on the wrong side of your work, and we're starting with the usual simple starting row with a standing single crochet, in my case, of single crochet in every stitch. So if you did a chain one and turned, you will still need to put a single crochet in the same stitch the chain one came from, and then single crochet all the way down the line. When you get to the other end, I need you to chain two and turn, and then wait for me. We're going to be making Jacob's ladder stitch work in this one. I called it Unity because to me it symbolizes how all of the crocheters of the world and how the team members of Hooked on Sunshine and all the testers and how we all work together, play together, laugh together, and sometimes cry together when we're frogging. Unity. So finish this first row and I'll be back in a few minutes. Row 2, our chain 2, if you have a chain 2, it counts as your first stitch. If you have a starting stitch, same thing. So I now need to make a double crochet in each of the next two stitches. That's this one there and this one there. So just one double crochet in each of those first two. So you effectively have 3 stitches at the start. Yours may start with a chain 2 like mine. Okay, now what we're going to do, and you do have a note that says to keep the tension tight on the 10 chain on the chain 10 loop. So we're going to make 10 chains tightly. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. And then we're going to come back and slip stitch through the top and side loop of this third double crochet that we made, just like this. So you easily just slide down through like that. Pull the yarn through and then pull it through the loop on your hook, and you have slip stitch joined that loop back down to its starting position. Okay. Now we're going to start the repeats. That was the setup. So we start our repeats with one double crochet in each of the next 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's get those done and I'll come back for the next loop. I'll just do the first one for you. And 5 more to do across there. So there's my 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this chain loop is attached to this third double crochet. And then I've made 6 double crochet, and now we need another 10 chain loop. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. And come back down and slip stitch down through the top and first side bar there of that double crochet. Pull up a loop and pull it through to make a slip stitch. Like that. So now we have 2 loops. So try and make it, let me just pull that out of the way, so that they are sitting at roughly the same height, as close to as you can get. Okay, that's your whole repeat. Okay, we just start with 6 double crochet in, so starting in the next stitch, 1 double crochet, 6 down the line, 3, 4, oops, 5 and 6. Undo your knots and then come back and finish. So now that I've untangled myself, I've got my next 6 double crochet and I need to make another chain 10 loop. Come down to the top of that same double crochet and down through the very first vertical bar or diagonal bar, pull up a loop and then pull it through the loop that was on your hook. So that's the repeat, that's the whole repeat. 6 double crochet and a chain 10 loop secured back down into the double crochet. So what you need to look for is your stitch count here. Just make sure that you've got 6 double crochet between these loops. So this loop has come out of this double crochet and gone back into it. Then you make 6 more, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, chain 10, slip stitch back down through the top of the stitch using this front loop and this diagonal loop. Pull a loop through and slip stitch it. So that's all you have to do all the way down to the other end. Alright, and then we should have about 3 stitches left. So let's all get to the other end and I'll meet you there. Here I am. I've finished all of my repeats and I have exactly 1, 2, 3 stitches left, and we are simply going to make 1 double crochet into each one of those, just like that. Now if you're following the pattern, you need to fasten off and secure your ends. If you're continuing your yarn, you'll need to chain 1 and turn. I haven't decided yet, so I'll just leave that for a second, but just let's talk about this. Now, some of you may have made Jacob's ladder stitch before. I do mine differently, as you can see. Usually Jacob's ladder loops are not re-secured. I prefer to secure them, otherwise you end up with great big holes, which I don't like. So this is why, the way I do it, it re-secures itself back into the stitch it came from. There's no skipping of stitches, therefore no gaps, and I just like it better this way. And since it's my contribution, I get to do what I want. Now, I think I've actually miscounted my chain loop here, so I'm going to redo this one. I think I only did 8 for some reason. But you can see instantly it doesn't even look the same. So cast your eye down the line, and your chain loops should look roughly the same height. And I can see here that mine is not, so I must have skipped 2 chains in my hurry. Alright, get that done, fasten off, secure your ends, change your colour if you need to, otherwise chain 1 and turn, and I'll meet you back for row 3. Row 3. Now I've decided to change my colour, and we're just going to be making simple single crochet all the way down the line. And the note tells you that we're going to be ignoring these chain 10 loops, completely ignoring them. We're going to work a single crochet into every double crochet. So even though this chain loop started and finished in the double crochet, we're still going to use just the double crochet for our single crochet. Alright, so let's just start. Join in the first stitch. If you've turned and chained 1, you still need to make a single crochet in the very first stitch, then another single crochet in the next one, and now here's my 3rd double crochet. There are my loops for it. I just put a single crochet straight into there. Now push that chain loop out of the way and come across to the double crochet it sits in, and just go straight into the loops of that double crochet, but keep that chain loop to the back, just like that. Okay, we don't want it at the front, we want it, and then just keep going down. And remembering that there will be 6 double crochet between each of those chain loops. There's my last one. Push the chain out of the way and put a single crochet in that same double crochet the chain comes out of, and keep going. That's all you have to do for this row. Now look, if by some accident you accidentally leave a chain loop sticking out the wrong side like this, and you don't notice till you get to the end, honestly, it is not the end of the world. See if you can find yourself a slightly smaller hook, and you can just come up from the back, snag it, and pull it through. So it's not the end of the world if you mess it up, alright? Don't panic. It can still be pulled through, but it's easier if you do it as you go, and it's also neat and it doesn't twist accidentally and all sorts of other nonsense. So push it out of the way, oops, out of the way, and put the single crochet into the back. Alright, all the way down, then chain 2 and turn if need to. We're going to make another row of loops, so if you want to change your colours, feel free, and I'll see you at the end. We'll turn and restart the next row together. It is a little bit fiddly, you've just got to give it a little bit quick tug, make sure it's where it's supposed to be. Alright, I'll be back in a little while for row 4. Let's just take a look. That's what it looks like from the wrong side. That's what it looks like from the right side. Went a little claw sticking out. Okay, let's go. Back soon. At the end of row 3, I just want to make sure that you did not forget to catch your chain 2 at the end or your starting stitch, and that you maybe took time to just check your stitch count. So row 4, we need to chain 2 and turn back to the front. And now we can see our stitch work properly. If I can tidy up. So there are my pretty loops, and there they will stay. So we're not going to do anything with the loops until the very end. So now row 4 is exactly the same as row 2. Okay, so we need to watch we're going to make more loops, watch our tension, but we start with the chain 2 as the first double crochet, and then 1 double crochet in each of the next 2, which is the second one is over here. 1 double crochet in there, and 1 double crochet in there. And now we make a chain 10 loop. Exactly, so it'll come exactly above. So this chain 10 loop will be in the 3rd stitch from the end, just like this one was. 1, 2, 3, there's my chain, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to make a 10 chain loop. That's 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And I'm making them very tight. Down through the top of that double crochet and the side loop, pull through the yarn, pull it through again for a slip stitch, just like row 2. And then you have to make 6 double crochet. So there's my next stitch over the other side of the previous loop, and make 6 double crochet. 3, 4, 5, and the 6th one goes right in above the previous loop. So that's what you're looking for. You need to land above your previous loop to make your next loop. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Slip stitch down through those 2 loops there, pull the yarn through and pull it through again, and that's my second loop done. So what you're looking for, and of course then I will continue here with my next double crochet, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and land again above. So when you're working, stop periodically and make sure that your loops are lining up. See that? On top of each other. If they're off to the side, you've gone too far, or if they're on this side, you haven't gone far enough. So make sure you've got those 6 double crochet in between. Alright, so I'll let you finish that row. It's exactly the same as row 2. At the end of it, you can either change yarn or chain 1 and turn, and we're going to come back for another single crochet row. Alright, but I'll start you off on row 5. Okay, back then. Okay, row 5 is exactly the same as we did with the previous row, which was 3 and 1. It's just single crochet, but because of the loops, you remember you've just got to push your loops to the front. So chain 1 and turn, or a standing single crochet to begin your row. Single crochet in the next one, and then into the next one. Just pull the loop out of the way so you can see the top loops of the double crochet. And then pull the loops to the front and get into the next double crochet. Just pull them out of the way and work your way down. Whoop. Checking that you are getting a single crochet, on either side of those chain loops. Let me just get to the next one. And the reason I'm fumbling is because my yarn was pulling at me. There we go. So remembering there's a single crochet to go in there, and then one immediately after into the next double crochet, because that's where you're likely to lose a stitch if you're not careful. Pull the loop out of the way and into the next double crochet. So that's all you have to do for row 5. So I'm going to let you finish that. And now, once you finish that, I'll just turn over for a minute. We're going to do one more set of loops. Okay, so row 6 is another repeat of row 2, which is the one we make the loops with. So it's the double crochet, 10 chains to make all of these loops, making sure again that they line up. So you will have 3 sets of loops stacked on top of each other. So you might have to rewind and rewatch row 2, which is this one with the double crochet and the loops. So finish this set of single crochet coming back turn, and from the front side make your double crochet and your chain loops, your third set, and then come back again with another set of single crochet. Your color changes will depend on whether you're following the pattern or doing your own thing. So you will finish row 7 with another row of single crochet exactly like this one, pushing the loops to the front, and then having, as I said, 3 sets of these loops completed with the single crochet return row. And then I'll return at that point at the end of row 7 to walk you through row 8 and row 9. So row 8 and 9 we are going to now thread all of our loops together. Okay, I'll show you how to do that when it's time. And then we're going to put, that's row 8, we're going to do some double crochet to set up, then we're going to thread our loops, and with row 9 we're going to secure them with a final row of single crochet across the top. But you don't have to worry about that now. All you have to do right now is finish this row, row 6, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Finish row 5 and then do another set of loops and another set of single crochet, 6 and 7, and we'll all reconvene for row 8. I hope that wasn't too confusing, but rewind back to row 2 so you can figure out how to make your loops again. Back soon. Okay, so at the end of row 7 we have completed a row of single crochet coming back from the wrong side, and then you flip and you're now on the right side. Okay, so over here I had my final single crochet there and a chain 2 to turn. So for row 8 now, it's nice and easy. That's my first double crochet, that chain 2 coming out of that last single. So row 8 is a matter of making 1 double crochet all the way down in every stitch. That's all it is. Get that one done, and then we'll come back and we will thread our loops and then secure them with the final row. Okay, so this one's quite easy, just double crochet all the way down. Just need the height so that the loops will stand up. When they get threaded, they'll pull up to the correct height. Alright, so just get that done for me. Chain 2 there all the way, and then you'll need to chain 1 and turn, and we'll thread our loops. So I'll be back shortly for the final steps. Okay, now once we've finished row 8, there it is right at the top there, stay on the right side for me, don't flip. I've made my final double crochet and my chain 1, but I'm not going to flip yet. So what we're going to do first is thread our loops. Now for me, I'm a right-hander, I need to start on the left-hand side, and you'll see why in a minute. If you're a left-hander and you finished your row 8 over here, then you need to be looking at this edge of your work because you're going to start threading from here. So now what we have to do is grab some stitch markers, anything you've got, including cat hair, stitch markers, pins, whatever you've got, just grab a bunch of them. I'll just put these down up here. And what we're going to do is thread these loops. We're going to start from the working end. Okay, that's called the working end. Whether you're left or right, find your working end where you finished up. Now, grab the very first loop, the bottom one down here, and make sure it's not twisted first. Take a look at it. I'll just, oops, come a bit close. In fact, I might even zoom in a bit more. Okay, so we can really see what's going on here. So there's my first loop, completely untwisted. There's my second loop, untwisted. I'm going to put this second loop through the first one. So that's the loop from row 2, that's the loop from row 4. So the loop from row 4 goes under and over into the loop below. I might have to take this out because it's very noisy. I'll just pull it out of the way. Okay, and now we're going to do the same. Now I need to untwist my top loop, make sure it's untwisted, and again under and over into the loop below. Don't yank it, you don't need to. That's the first step. Now the second step is where your stitch marker comes into play, so let me get one. And we're going to secure the top of this loop to the 4th stitch along, because when we work our final row we're going to be working it from the back. But we need the 4th stitch. Now that's my chain there, that's not a stitch, that's a chain, my turning chain. So 1, 2, 3 and 4 right there. I need to secure this loop into that 4th stitch, and I probably used the wrong stitch marker right now. So let's get a stitch marker into the loop, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a stitch marker into that top of that stitch. Now we will work into that stitch, but it's good to know where it is. Okay, that's the second step actually. Now we're going to thread the next one. So get your loop, untwist it, make sure it's untwisted. Grab the next one, make sure it's untwisted and thread it. Grab the third one, make sure it's untwisted and thread it under and over. Boom, like that. So now I need another stitch marker. And from now on, once after the first one, we're going to skip 5 stitches from here and put this into the 6th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's the 6th. I'm going to secure that one to the 6th so I know where it goes when I come around. Okay? Easy. Let's do one more. Untwist the loop, make sure it's facing the right way. Make sure the white one, or my white one, the next one, is untwisted, under and over. Okay? And then grab the last one, under, and then pull it through over. Secure it with a stitch marker. I'll grab one of these this time. Count 5 from the previous one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and secure it to the 6th. Like that. Now you can do them all, or you can just do a few at a time. It's entirely up to you. I'll do one more. Under and over. Under and over. Stitch marker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, that's all you have to do. And now we're ready to do the other side. Okay, so decide how you want to do this. Go and do them all, or just do some to see how it's going to look, and then flip your work. Make sure you've got that chain one on the end of your last stitch from row 8, and then I'll come back for row 9 to finish. Back soon. I'm just popping back in for another little hint. If you're having trouble threading these with your hands, you can always use your hook and just thread them through like that, just as easy. So I just thought about that after I did it, when I was thinking, gee, my fingers are starting to ache and I've only done a few. So you can do it that way as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So just pull them out, just grab the first one, pull the second one through, and then immediately pull the third one through. Nice and easy as well. I should have thought of that to begin with. Okay, carry on. I'll be back in a minute. When you get to the end, you should have 2 stitches left, including your turning chain if you have one. So this one should go into the 3rd last stitch, leaving you 2 free. Alright, so double check that. I'll be back in a second to finish off. Okay, so here I am all threaded and we are ready to finish. So making sure you've got your turning chain at the end in that last double crochet, flip it. We're going to work this last row from the back. So first thing we need to do is make a single crochet in the same stitch that our chain is into. Just 1 single crochet in there. Then a single crochet into the next 2. These are the 2 stitches right before. You see, this is why these stitch markers were so good. You know exactly what you need to do and where. So 1 single crochet in each of these 2 empty stitches here. And now we're going to anchor. Now we need to put a single crochet through both the stitch and the loop. Okay, so you can take this off now, but maybe if you're not certain, maybe just take the stitch out first and start your single crochet. Put it through there, and then put it through your loop, and then take out your stitch marker. And then pull through and finish the single crochet. And we have now anchored our chain loop. Now we're going to make 1 single crochet into the next 5 stitches. And remember, when we were threading the loops, we were skipping 5 stitches and anchoring it into the 6th. So there should be 5 free stitches between from one to the next, and here I am at my 6th loop. So let's secure this one now. So you can undo your stitch marker if you have one, pull it out of the stitch, keep the loops threaded, start your single crochet, just start it, then put it in, making sure you've got to be careful not to twist anything. That's the main trick here. Then pull your yarn through and finish your single crochet. 1 single crochet into the next 5, 3, 4 and 5. Let me just get these out of the way. Get ready for my next one. I'm going to pull it out of the stitch only to begin. Put my hook through, skewer my loop, throw away my stitch marker. Oops, it bounced back. And finish my single crochet. It's a boomerang stitch marker. I threw it away and it bounced. Okay, and again, 1 single crochet into each of the next 5, 2, 3, 4 and 5, brings me straight to my next one. Unsnag my stitch first, put my hook through the stitch, then through the loop, take the stitch marker out, place it down very carefully so that it doesn't bounce, and finish my single crochet. I think I'm punch drunk. And what we're getting on the other side is a nice string of attached chain loops. So that's what you're going to have to do all the way down. Now if you didn't have enough stitch markers, you can do whatever you've got, and then move down and then thread some more. The thing of it is you could try doing them as you go, but the problem with doing that is if you're facing the wrong way, you could end up twisting your loops. You won't have as much visual on them, so you won't know if they're twisted until it's too late. So it's better to just go and grab even nappy pins, anything, whatever you've got, even those teeny tiny little pins that come off your clothing when you buy it, those that hold the labels on. Anything you've got will help you save some time here. So here we go. Pull out another stitch marker, pull it out of the stitch first, get into the stitch, then thread, and making sure you're not twisting, thread your loop, pull out the stitch marker, pull it through and finish. Okay, although I'm nearly done my side, I've only got 3 more to do. I'll meet you down at the last one and we'll finish up together. Alright, I'll be back in a minute and then we'll flip over and have a look. Okay, so here I am about to make my last anchoring stitch. So let's just get this stitch marker out of the stitch and then snag the loop, ditch the stitch marker and make my final single crochet anchor stitch. And now it leaves me 2 stitches, my double crochet and my chain 2 from the turning chain. So I need a single crochet in each of those. And I'm done. I'm going to fasten off and secure my ends in a minute, but I'll just leave that there for a second. Then we just turn and admire our work. There it is. Ta-da! Beautiful. And that, my friends, is the end of part 17, contributed by the video fairy, yours truly. I hope you enjoyed it. Now let's all get on and put our ATMs on above, and then we'll return for part 18, which is the last section we'll be putting on our blanket before the border. Now part 18 is in fact a repeat of part 1, Ivy, by Vanessa. So we thought we would start and finish with our beautiful sunshine head fairy, and I will just come back to talk you through it because obviously there's no starting chain for Ivy this time. So I'll get you going and then I'll let you finish it, and then we will reconvene again later for the border. But I'll see you shortly for part 18.